Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to my channel. My name is Moon, and today I'm sporting my little HL mini bag. I love this adorable little speedy bag from the mid 1990s, and I purchased it from Fashion File, and I'm just holding this for fun today. I am not actually reviewing a bag today. I wanted to do a video on 10 tips for beating handbag addiction or for being more intentional with your handbag purchases and building a handbag collection. If you watched my recent video review of my GM Never Full in the Damier event print, which I posted a couple of weeks ago, I was talking in that video about how I'd taken a break from making YouTube videos for a few weeks just to reflect on my collection and how I'm moving more towards an intentional and minimalist mindset with my clothes and with my handbags and accessories. And I'm nowhere near maybe where I hope to be one day, but I have definitely started to think in that direction and become more intentional with my purchases and slowed down a bit these last few weeks. And over the last few years, I've made quite a few purchases. I've done a number of unboxings. If you've been watching my channel, then you know. But I wanted to share a little bit about, ways to cut down your spending and at the same time enjoy your handbag collection. So I hope this will be helpful to you if you have been having these thoughts in recent weeks or months, and I hope some of the advice I give is useful. So, of the 10 tips, my very first tip. My first tip is to pick a number for your handbag collection. Now, this is a tricky question. Some people don't necessarily believe in limits or numbers. I think if you are coming from a perspective of being intentional with your wardrobe and with your collection, I think it's helpful to think about, well, how many bags do you need in your collection? And I am by no means, again, a minimalist at this point. I'm just more trying to be intentional with my purchases. So the number for you might be 3 handbags, or it might be 50. It's hard to know, although 50 is probably not what I would consider minimalist for a lot of like mainstream articles and like YouTube videos that I have listened to on the topic. I would say the number would be smaller than that. But still, you have to think of your own lifestyle, how big your closet is, how much storage space you have, what your budget is, and those kinds of things are really individual. So for me, I'll say that I have arrived at 20 handbags as my absolute maximum, and I have reached that. I had the number 20 in my mind for several months, and when I got past that, I actually went to about 25, 26 handbags. I started to feel a lot of anxiety, and I knew I had to limit it down. I was thinking of limiting it down to 15 handbags, maybe 16, but at the end of the day, I decided to go with 20 because I was having trouble getting rid of these, any of these beyond the 5 or 6 that I sold. And I thought, you know what? I bought these bags over the last few years. I'm going to stick with them. I'm just not going to buy any more for a while. So I'm going to stick with these 20, use them. I will probably minimize my collection in the future after I have used these bags more and I'm not online all the time looking for the next bag. So I've been focusing more on getting to know my bags. So again, 10 bags might be your number, but just think of a number that works for you as your maximum and really honor that. My second tip for building an intentional collection is to limit yourself to just a couple of designer houses, especially if you like buying mid-range or luxe types of handbags. And that doesn't mean you can't buy other brands, but for those more like pricey items, limit yourself maybe to 1 or 2 designers. I think that's great too, because when I watch video reviews from YouTube style lovers who have, a Chanel bag, a Louis Vuitton bag, and then they have a YSL bag, and then this brand and that brand and that brand, a Mulberry or whatever it may be, it starts to feel like I can't really see their personal style. And that may be okay. They may be more like handbag collectors. They have a different approach or philosophy. But if you're coming from a place of intentional living and you do want to limit the number, I think picking 1 or 2 designer houses is plenty to give you some variety and at the same time, really limit your purchases. And that way you're not, looking at every brand and wanting it, because I've come to learn that I see a YSL bag on someone, and actually, I went out to brunch with friends a few weeks ago, and one of my friends had a YSL bag, and I was looking at the bag and thinking, this is a beautiful bag, and I complimented her on it, and I had this amazing feeling of, I don't want the bag. Whereas maybe at some point in the past, I would have thought, hey, I like that bag, maybe I should get it. But just knowing my style better now, I know that that's not a bag that I personally need in my collection. So for me, the two designer houses, one of them is like high end and one of them is kind of mid range, are Louis Vuitton and then Dooney and Burke. So I love purchasing handbags. I have like several Louis Vuitton bags. About half my collection is Louis Vuitton. And then I have like 3 or 4 Dooney and Burke bags, and then 5 like randoms that are more on the affordable end, like a Herschel bag that I got from Amazon, Dagne Dover, a Kuyana bag. And so that allows me to just kind of dabble with other modern brands and trends, while at the same time knowing I have my 2 core designer brands. A third tip here is know what kind of handbag enthusiast or lover you are. And I have broken this down into 3 possible categories. You might be a combination of all of these, or you might be something else that I'm not thinking of. And feel free to comment in the comments below if there's another category you have in mind. But the 3 I think of are the handbag collector, the handbag personal stylist, and the handbag trendsetter. So the collector for me is the person who really just enjoys collecting handbags. And maybe they even only use a handful of their handbags. Maybe they use their entire collection, but really they love handbags and they want a large collection. The second type of handbag enthusiast is someone who wants their handbags to be an expression or extension of their personal style. And the third, the trendsetter, is someone who, likes the latest trendy bag, the latest seasonal bag, and maybe changing their mind a lot, or, handbags are in and out of their collection and they're just going with the times and going with the flow. I would say personally for me, I'm someone who enjoys collecting bags, but mainly I am someone who wants bags that reflect my style. So for me, like this little mini casual vintage piece, I think, shows that, I'm nodding to this classic designer house, but at the same time, I have a nostalgic vibe about me, and I like all of that in my fashion dress sense. But I'm very casual ultimately, right? And this to me really matches that, for instance. So pick, 1 to 2 of those from the list of 3, and that might help you like understand where you're coming from when you purchase handbags. A fourth tip is to rotate your bags and find a method for yourself that really works in terms of rotating them, and really use your bags. So, you might have seasonal handbags, like bags you only take out in the winter and bags you take out in the spring or summer or fall. Or you might have a 1 week rotation policy where you get a handbag from your closet, you wear it for a week, and then you're on to the next one. Or like the weekday weekend. I'll say that I have, handbags for work that I use during the week. I have 2 or 3 options there. And then on the weekends, I tend to rotate randomly, just depending on what I'm wearing or what my mood is. But my bigger bags are in rotation for work. I also have handbags that I use primarily at home, like my Neverfull GM. I don't really go out with that bag. Occasionally I'll take it to work, but I'm fine with the for work. But at home, I like all the things I need to be in a bag. So if I'm going from living room to bedroom, I can carry that bag with me. And I know it has all my essentials that I need. If I'm reading a book at the time, it's in there. If I have my makeup, I need it, it's in there. I need lip gloss, it's in there. I need a Kleenex, it's in there. Everything I typically reach for is in that bag, and it just goes with me from room to room. But I love rotating my bags, and it also keeps your bags in good condition. And, really using your bags, shifting your focus from online searching to just like loving your bags and really noticing them is so much fun. And then, once you reach your maximum number, whatever number you decide, whether that's 5 or 10 or 20 or 30, whatever you're comfortable with, I would say stop purchasing for a while. Go through a no buy period with handbags, especially if you've been buying a lot of them. So, for instance, I reached my number 20 recently. I'm happy with my collection. I would preferably not like to buy a handbag for at least another year. If I do end up buying a handbag between now and next summer, summer 2022, then I would have a one in, one out policy. And that also brings me to my next tip, which is once you reach your number, have a one in, one out policy. That way you don't go beyond your maximum. And if, let's say you have like a few classic bags in your collection that you want to keep forever or for a long time, you might have a few trendier pieces that you keep for a while and then you're happy to sell them or donate them and buy what's in trend right now or on trend. Another way to limit your handbag purchases and be more intentional is to limit your handbag collection to just 2 or 3, maybe 4 colors. For instance, I really like the Louis Vuitton canvas print. So I like brown in my collection. I have a couple of black handbags, but brown, tan, taupe, I tend to be in that family of colors. I don't think I have any like red or blue or green or any brightly colored handbags. They're all neutral. And I only have a couple of black handbags because I tend to wear a lot of black. And usually when I wear my handbag, I want it to pop as an accessory against my black outfit. So I don't carry a lot of black handbags, but I do have a couple because they're good to have, right? Sometimes I'm wearing different colors, or even if I'm wearing black, I want a classic black handbag that doesn't stand out too much. So limit your colors. Really think about that. And if your colors are all over the place, I mean that's fine too. Maybe you want like a rainbow collection. You do you. But if you're trying to limit, it might be helpful. Also, in building your collection, think about your lifestyle and think about, where you live and make sure you have enough variety in your collection that you will be happy to shop your own closet instead of shopping online or in stores for a while or for, periods of time. And that you aren't so limited that you feel like you're getting bored with your handbags. So I know, for instance, that I need handbags for work. I need them for going out for running errands, the grocery store. And then I have like, brunch with friends or with family, those kinds of things. I don't really go to a lot of formal occasions, dressy occasions. I rarely need bags for that. So I have a couple of like dressier bags for me. One is the Alma BB and Damier Ebene print. I also have a little pochette bag from Dooney and Burke. They're both on the dressier side for me, and for the occasions I go to, either of these bags work, but I can also wear them more casually. So they do get use even if I'm not going to any formal events. So that's another tip. And then another thing to think about is what story do you want to tell with your collection? That's sort of an interesting thing. Like, what's the narrative? What's the vibe? What is the style story that you are expressing? And like I was saying, I tend to have kind of a nostalgic point of view. I'm a bit of a romantic. And, I think my handbags also show that. My handbags are also kind of classic. I don't have real bright colors. So the handbags I have, I think, can make a statement, but they're subtle also. And I have an interest in like luxury, but casual luxury. So all of these things come to mind. But in terms of the real narrative of my handbags, I still need to figure that out a bit and think a little bit more about it. But I think it is kind of fun to think about, even write it out. What is the story of your handbag? And then instead of buying handbags, I suggest buying accessories for your handbags. Buy a bag charm, buy a bag strap, and buy different like bag organizers and things for your bags. And you'll really, really have fun changing up the look of the bags you already own. And think about that in your choices for which handbags you end up purchasing, so that you can buy something maybe with a removable detachable strap and put a different strap on there, and that really opens up your options with that particular handbag. And my final tip for today is channel your handbag enthusiasm, the handbag enthusiasm you have for purchasing new handbags into other things. Maybe you start an Instagram page. Maybe you join some kind of like online group or something for handbag enthusiasts. Maybe you create YouTube videos and reviews of the handbags you have. Maybe you focus on caring for your bags and, maybe you want to do something creative like with your handbags, or just, what are you not paying attention to in your life if you're spending a lot of time in particular buying handbags. I would say I went through a period maybe for about 18 months where I was really obsessively focused on handbags, and in most of my leisure time I was doing that. I'm also a writer, and I felt like what I was doing was kind of procrastinating from writing. And now that I have dialed it back, I have been doing a lot of writing. So again, what is it that you're avoiding maybe through getting so obsessed with handbags, if that's something you find yourself doing? So I hope that these 10 tips were helpful to you. If any of it was, please give me a like and subscribe. I would love to have you follow me, and let me know in the comments below which of these tips speaks to you the most, or do you have another tip for dealing with handbag addiction and for buying and purchasing handbags more intentionally. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next one.